And we're live. I'm recording live from Geek Dad Life Studios. Matt got a hard-on when he saw it, I think.
What the fuck?
You got excited because this is your Wednesday. This is your Wednesday home, right?
His jeans are a little moist and not from the snow.
I'll just leave this podcast now.
You said go live with it. You said you'd stop me until it go live.
I didn't think you would use that verbiage. I mean, I'm usually recording with Jay on Wednesday, but some things.
I'm sorry, I got like 5,000.
It's your preference is to be recording on Wednesday with Jay. It's actually the more accurate statement.
I'm here with you guys, and this is so nice. So
not
nice
by
to
choice,
see you guys. Really great. Well, if it was Thursday, we're recording Thursday, we could actually talk. We could actually talk to Chris about the Mandalorian, but since that's not the case, we're gonna keep.
Sorry, man. I've been working. I'm literally. I come home from work 10 minutes ago. I'm having goldfish and Pinot Noir for dinner.
Well,
okay, I was wondering if that was either.
Hey, it's all about combinations, Chris. That could be the first time anyone's ever had that.
That's a big Twinkie.
Oh, is that Chris's action figure? Because I couldn't tell the. Seriously, the first thing you texted, I wanted to say something, and I was like, nah, I better not. And then Jay rips you, and then I was like, okay, it's fair game. I should just go ahead and say this.
You're spot on with that, Matt.
That was funny as hell.
I'm not usually funny in our text messages, by the way. Usually I'm the butt of the jokes, but yeah.
I think you've been.
No, it was about the action figures. You remember Chris sent us like versions of himself?
Hasbro sent me an email the other day. And
Hasbro's contacting you?
Well,
how did you get that gig?
Marketing email.
Oh,
So
okay.
they reached out and they're like, "This is our selfies series. So if you download the Hasbro
I remember now.
You can take a selfie of yourself within their app, and what they do is they stitch the frames of your photo of your head, and they loosely make it
look
fit
like you.
their stock.
Well, to be fair, you got a pretty big melon, so it's.
I got a big head. There's no doubt about that. But like they wrap your image around probably like their pre-existing like dimensions of their action figure heads, and you can choose to go through like become a stormtrooper. You could be the Mando. You could be TIE fighter pilot.
So you chose to be Carl Weathers.
And so for those listening at home, I took a screenshot of what it was, and it didn't look that way to me at first. But then when Matt said, because it appears that you
could be canceled for this.
I might actually have it some.
Could you be canceled for this?
How am I going to be canceled for it? I said.
Not you.
Oh, okay.
The image.
No, Hasbro
had my skin a few shades darker than what's probably closer to reality.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt
closer to his beard color.
Yeah, and Matt asked if I was black.
I don't see color or race.
No, man, I'm not. But now that you mention it, it definitely looks. There it is.
It looks maybe even more darker on the screen here, but yeah.
First, I thought it was Trump.
And then because I was saying they gave him dark skin and orange hair.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Then also there's Jack.
Mm-hmm.
The magic eraser. I love it.
Okay. Nick sent that one.
Yeah.
Nick was picking on the Mr. Clean look.
I don't make those kind of jokes in the chat.
You wait till we're live.
Wait till we're live, and you're like,
Yeah.
Well,
been holding on to this one for 2 days.
Yeah, I forgot about Chris and the. I didn't know who it was at first. I mean,
it doesn't. It resembles me. It doesn't look like me.
It's a cartoon version of you. If you were in an animated series and you were black.
If I was a character on GoldenEye 007 from Nintendo.
Or if you were on the Roots.
To be
miniseries.
To be fair,
Okay.
your skin
To be
tone
fair.
was more Hispanic. So
All
So
right, then. I'm gonna go back to my wine.
that's a good plan there, brother.
Now that you can tell, brother.
Now they can.
Brother.
brother.
Hey,
I
brother.
played some wrestling, video game wrestling, not physical wrestling. Chris is like, shit, it's happening already. He's gonna say something dumb. Too late.
Too late. Too late.
So Monday night. The only reason we don't really record on Monday night, that's usually my video game hang time with my brother, you know. So and one of the recent games he got was the new wrestling game, and he nope, it's Pinot Noir. Wait, what? Wasn't it Pinot Noir? Is that what you said?
Just move on. Just fucking move on.
Okay,
That was funny, but just fucking move on.
okay, I'll move on. Anyway, so I got to play wrestling, video game wrestling, but my
Nice.
brother was like really into it. He's like, "Hey, you got to make your character," and I was like, "Okay."
Oh,
So I start making my character, and immediately I'm
Did you
confronted
take
by
Chris's?
Was he wearing blue jeans?
No, I was really. I should.
you should have.
Tear off
should.
shorts like John Cena.
Just some cut off jeans, just having real frayed at the bottom.
I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not like a huge wrestling guy. It's not really my jam.
Not your
Sorry.
thing.
Why not?
Sorry, Glorious.
It's real.
Yeah, I loved that shit growing up, and I love how it's invaded my For You page on TikTok. I
definitely was around it. I definitely was around other kids that were into it. It's just when I go to make a wrestling character, I'm like, why are all of these dudes half naked? You know, like, so I just was like, I want to make a female wrestler. So then I just went down a whole other.
That exists too.
Yeah, I know.
You're
And
not
I would
creating
rather-
anything here, dude. Like, that's a thing. You're so fucking progressive.
I just didn't. If I'm going to wrestle, like, and watch wrestling, like,
You'd rather watch the old up ladies rather
This is
than
like
the old up men.
Wokamania.
I would rather women wrestle. I don't know. Is that weird? Maybe it is. weird.
Friday night woke down.
Friday Night Woketown? No, I just don't. Why do I want to watch dudes wrestle?
Monday night medium rare.
Medium raw, yeah.
Fine. Let's get back to Jack and how he's messing with Jay's toys.
Did you
Never
ever-
mind.
Yeah. Did you ever see that clip of he's probably like an 8-year-old kid, 7-year-old kid dressed up as 80s Hulk Hogan. So he's in the red and in the yellow tank top.
Yeah.
And he walks up to the Hulk and you had an autograph booth. And he's like, "Let me tell you something, brother." I mean, he's just perfectly in character yelling
I
at the
saw that.
Hulk. It's so cute. It's so cute.
Yeah, I'll tell you though. I was mentioning before. I got the wrestling shit's got onto my algorithm. I watched something once and it just keeps feeding me. But
This is like sexually transmitted diseases. Kids need to understand that about social media.
yeah, but the there's some clips of like fan events like cons or whatever where they're getting like autographs, and holy fuck, some of these old school wrestlers that we watched when we were kids look like shit.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Today.
Well,
Like,
steroids
awful.
will do that.
Steroids and tanning beds. I mean, that's all it was.
Like even I think, I mean, it's not too long ago, but Chris Jericho. Remember Chris Jericho?
Yeah.
He looks awful. Like,
Well,
he
you
looks
gotta
like
be-
shit.
Yeah, well, he's probably in his late 50s now. He's like Matt's
Did
age.
they go to the Richard Grieco School of Aging?
That's
Yeah,
what I was
totally did.
thinking.
Yeah.
Totally.
I mean, look at what's his name? In the movie The Wrestler. I mean, of course, he had a lot of plastic surgery, but I mean, God,
Oh yeah.
Mickey Rourke was, not a bad looking guy in the 80s.
Yeah,
and then
he fucked himself up with plastic surgery.
oh yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's I know you guys have
What
never
would-
seen Diner, but you see Diner and then you see him today. It's like
Well, hey, take
What
a look
happened?
at Madonna.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
Christ.
Oh
yeah.
God, yeah.
Man, that is just like
hey, whatever
happened?
whatever makes people happy. I'm okay.
Yeah,
I'm not here to judge.
I am judging.
No, I'm judging the fuck out of them. They look stupid as shit. Like, I mean, but the thing is, though, I mean, I think we were talking about this last week about all the plastic surgeries.
We were,
happening.
yeah.
Like Courtney Cox is just regretting all the shit that she did to
Yeah.
herself to make herself look like a freaking fembot for crying out loud.
Mm.
But yeah, that sucks, man. People
Well, I mean,
don't do plastic surgery, man. It's not good
because
for you.
people. I get it. Nobody wants to get old.
Yeah, and then, nobody. Yeah, exactly. Nobody does. But yeah, I think with Courtney Cox especially because she was the second oldest person on Friends. Because when the rest of them were all in their early 30s, she was in her late 30s, and she probably was paranoid that she was showing that. Because her and Lisa, Lisa Kudrow were the oldest.
I mean,
Yeah,
10 years for a
Kudrow was the
sitcom.
Yeah, like Kudrow was like 1 year older than Courtney Cox.
I mean, we were talking about the mom from Modern Family, great surgery, and but I mean, like you're on a show for 10 years, right? Like, I mean, you're going to age in that period of time, and you're also going to be trying to keep up with not aging, and maintain.
Well, especially for women in Hollywood, getting older is a curse.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's getting a little better, but let's face it. If once women get a certain age, it's like, okay.
Well, now we just crank out the old AI generator. We just don't even need actors anymore.
That's true.
I remember
bots.
But no, getting old sucks. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
Tell us about it, old man.
It sucks, man.
I mean, I'm getting the bags and shit, and I'm getting all this shit in my eyes. I'm fucking old as fuck, man.
I get the dark circles. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see that photo? Did you see that photo that Jack put up today of him 4 years ago? It's crazy, like how much he's
had a full head of hair.
Full head of hair. He was wearing short shorts.
I remember that.
Magnum PI shorts.
I did get so one of the gifts that my wife got me for Christmas was it was like a GQ like quarterly kind of thing. They send a box of like kind of thing, and it's stuff that she knows that I don't like really take care of myself, and so she was just kind of like, hey, like here's some shit.
I mean, is this
but it came with like some like some stuff to kind of like some cleanse, some like and I've been using that, So it came with like deodorant. Wait. It came with.
You never used deodorant before you had the box?
No, I did, but it's like it gives you a sample box of a lot of different brands, and so like one of them it came with like a watch, and one of them came with like some coffee. It comes with like a lot of different things or socks.
Is it once a month or is it just a?
It's a quarterly thing, so I'll get one. Okay. I'll get one in the summer. The spring one I had a watch though, and I'm not usually a watch guy, but I kind of cool. Yeah, but I've been actually wearing it. And it's like, it's something. What's not? Oh, it's not healthy. It's fair. I like that John Lewis.
The chat's taking over for us tonight. There, Matt.
They're AI. They're advancing.
Yeah. So. No, but that's the line. Getting old sucks. I mean, I can tell you.
It does.
Just keeps coming too.
I started taking glucosamine chondroitin on a daily basis just to make sure my knees can fucking work again.
Yeah. Orally or anally?
What?
I think if Chris had his choice, he would take it.
Yeah. He likes
fucking boof that shit right now. Let's go.
Yeah.
No, I've started taking tons of different supplements, man. Like orally, not anally.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah.
Says you. That's why you lost his taste buds.
Taking like turmeric, taking some stuff for like brain health, just because of the fact that dementia is running my family, so I'm taking as many of these supplements I can to try and
ginkgo biloba.
No, what the fuck is it called? I don't know. But it's a magnesium. It's a magnesium compound. So there's the magnesium threonate. I think is tied to like preservation of
theanine
brain cells. Theanite or theanine, whatever. Yeah.
I should probably take. That's probably too late for me.
Chris, exactly. Chris, don't you think it's a bit late to be trying to preserve those brain cells? I mean,
yeah, well, fair enough.
After you attacked them for so many years,
it's kind of like an hourglass. Like
I don't know what you're talking about.
Kind of let a little bit go.
Whoa!
Try to save a couple. So before they go,
I've actually, I can honestly say that from my mid-20s to now, I've definitely toned down my lifestyle. I don't drink anymore, as I drink a glass of wine. Like I might have a glass of wine or two a week, but I don't drink. I just don't.
I don't drink a gallon a day. Okay.
But the only time I'm going,
I only drink to excess.
This will sound funny, but the only time I really drink is if I'm going off to a concert, which I know I go to a lot of concerts. But comparatively speaking, to drinking days,
Did you stop drinking after you punched that guy?
Well, he was court ordered.
Asshole.
So yeah.
Okay,
yeah, court order. But no, the amount of drinking I don't do because of marijuana and edibles is
that is Chris, you and I are very similar. There's not a lot of the things that you and I agree on.
We agree on a lot of shit, dude.
So the edibles have no long-term side
Chris.
effects, right?
Huh? What did you say?
No, it's just THC. I mean, but
well, I mean, the one great thing about
it, I was being
you're
serious.
Not taking in like
no, I know you're being serious. Yeah, there's always. I mean, the absence of any type of external stimulant is always better than the presence of one. I mean,
you're altering your.
Sure. Yeah, but but is it a negative impact? I don't know if it's negative impact, but I don't think there's any like positive. But I mean, there's a ton of things that are positive that can come from THC consumption. But one of the biggest negatives about marijuana and people is the fact that people smoke it. Like if you're smoking marijuana, like you're still having the negative effects of combustion and inhalation. But when you're not,
I can't do it. I can't smoke it anymore. It's too.
Yeah, I mean,
it's too rough.
I don't. I mean,
not that I smoked a lot. I wasn't one a big smoker.
Like I'm looking at a bag of weed up here that I've had in my bag for like I don't even know how long. I haven't even smoked it. Like my neighbor gave it to me because he fucking grew it in his front yard.
Oh wow.
People with dementia in their family are supposed to do a mental cleanse to get the metal out of their system.
Well, we talked about that. About like Chris and I talked about this a few months back about deodorants, for example. Is that people who use I never said that word right. Perspirant. Has aluminum in the
Easy
deodorant.
for you to say.
Aluminum chloride. But they've actually come out with this further testing has come up and saying that's all horseshit.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I've gone back to using aluminum.
Now they say aluminum's good for you.
No, it just doesn't have the negative impact that they thought.
Okay.
Like
you can recycle it.
Damn.
I've had this in this bag for a year. I haven't even touched it.
Smoke. I mean, it looks really fresh still. It's still green.
Yeah, it's still green.
Well, I mean, this is like homegrown. Like my neighbor grew it in his fucking yard.
Homegrown.
It's definitely a little bit dry.
Homegrown.
I figured you'd have some of the blue stuff.
Oh, The Rock. Yeah. How's that rewatch going, man?
I'm done.
These, man.
He's done.
Where it's at.
What do you got?
You finished the whole series?
Yep. And El Camino.
And El Camino.
Nice.
Okay. All right. Should we get a little check in with Nick, or you just want to leave it a mystery?
We can talk about it.
So did you like how he read a book in the bathroom and that was a downfall?
Okay, so first I'd like to start with I've always been a big fan.
I had that.
I've always been I missed it. I've always been a big fan of
reading in the bathroom.
The story. The thought of happy endings are stories that haven't finished yet. And so, if you wanted the happy ending of Breaking Bad,
that's not what Robert Kraft said.
You're right. If you wanted, the happy ending, you would probably just stop it into season 4 because then you could imagine what could happen after that, And then season 5, for 3/4 of that season, you're just like, "Fuck! How does this get any worse?" Because it's just a downfall of everything. And I enjoyed it. I still kind of from the very beginning. What are we looking? What are you pointing at?
Ding ding.
Ding 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 ding. Yeah, that's season 4. Yeah. I loved the end of season 4. I thought that was great. I thought it was so clever how it all came. His plotting came together. I thought that and then he saw it all unravel in season 5, and his ego got really in the way, and and he became the egotistical person. I mean, he always was, but he really bought into some bullshit.
He broke bad.
I think the part where Walt had no redemption was when he let the girlfriend die. That was
Jessica Jones.
Yeah, Jessica Jones. When he watched her die or let her die, a part of him died too. Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
But it also you couldn't root for him anymore because he had gone to the far dark side. I mean, it just was like, okay, all right, you've really become.
Sorry, I know my other my podcasting hosts are going to think I'm too woke for this, but I did not like the whole raping of his wife thing. Like that part, I felt like was really dark. So
maybe I missed that.
Yeah, like he takes her in the kitchen and he basically rapes her.
Yeah,
I mean, I know it's his wife, but I
don't remember that.
I don't remember that either.
Okay.
I just watched it.
It was awkward.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So anyway,
that's like in season 1 or 2.
2.
Yeah. I do remember that now.
I was thinking towards the end.
Yeah, he kind of comes in and like he's just getting frisky.
He just
with
takes
her.
her.
And she tells him to stop because Junior's about to come home, and he just keeps going, and to the point where it's like it's aggressive.
It's aggressive, and it's wrong.
And no means no.
Yeah. So anyway,
but Randy, I actually almost wanted to play that for tonight's opener. That song.
Oh,
but it's a riff song, so it would have been a lot of just me not doing much. So, but anyway, the only issue I have with the show at all is that I wish that they would have had a female writer on the show to better round out Marie and Skylar.
Yeah,
because I think that's
good. That's a really good fucking call.
Damn, like Nick's being all woke over here and shit.
I know. I just think it's fair. I just think I love good characters regardless of their sex or whatever. And I think that if that's the only weak spot in the show is he made 2 of the most unlikable characters in history by giving them very stereotypical negative aspects of women.
Yeah, it's.
Because
are
people
you running for office?
No, but like people shit on Skylar, but Marie is by far the worst character of that show.
I love the actress that plays Marie though. Yeah. So,
but other than that, I enjoyed it. I don't think it's like when people say it was the greatest show of all time. I wouldn't agree with that. I think it's in there, but it's not the best. But anyway. Anyway, peanut gallery.
I'm not repeating that one.
There's a lot of shit being said in the chat that's not going to get repeated on the show.
Yeah, I can't say that.
That's just so wrong.
I'm not getting canceled, John, from Kentucky.
Jeez, wow.
Well, Kentucky. What do you expect?
Yeah, I know. Transgender much?
Trying to think.
What?
They just passed laws, like very restrictive laws in Kentucky against transgender.
Really?
Yeah.
I kept.
Actually, they went over the veto that the governor had put into place, so they But anyway, that's
someone should tell them that they should stop worrying about banning books because dead kids can't read.
Right? No shit.
So I kept back to Breaking Bad. The one thing it did irk me just a little bit, but I think maybe Mike was just a bit too smart, because he put it all together quickly before Walt could really bullshit him. Was because when he took the book, just speaking of the book, Jack, I know that once I would have discovered that, if I would have been Walt, I would have owned up to look, I had cancer, I needed money, I sold the formula to this guy, and he gave me this book. I was like, but I am not involved in any of this. But then, of course, when he assaults him in the garage, he basically knows everything. So you're like, oh shit, that wouldn't have worked. But anyway, interesting.
Yeah, but at this point, Walt wanted him to know.
Maybe.
I think there's a little bit of Walt. There's there's a little bit of that.
You're goddamn right.
Mm-hmm.
And then going to Better Call Saul, because you guys included with me doing my watching Better Call Saul before. I don't think it spoiled me in any way. I never saw
Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul is good. I still have not seen the last season, and then like I said, Cliff said,
I'm 3 seasons behind.
Yeah, I haven't seen season 6, but Cliff said I think that's a brilliant idea. Just watch season 1 through 5, then watch Breaking Bad, El Camino, then go back and watch season 6 of Better Call Saul, and it's like the machete cut of the Breaking Bad series. Because other than just knowing who Gus was and Mike was, and then because he starts off season 1 of Better Call Saul of Saul being in protective custody, but you don't know why he's in protective custody or not. He's running a ice cream shop in a mall.
Yeah.
You know? But you don't know that. If you're going into it not knowing jack shit about the show, you just go, oh, okay, I see he's just in witness protection or something. And you just keep going from that. And it's all back before when he's just a regular everyday lawyer. And then you see him evolve into the person he is in Breaking Bad. So, but yeah, I did too, John. I think they're very different shows. I really liked the early seasons of Better Call Saul better than probably the later ones, just because I enjoyed the conflict between Saul and his brother, and how that ended, But it's still a good show, and I look forward to watching the last season when it finally.
I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing that they were able to pull off Better Call Saul, because I know when I first heard it, I thought it was a joke.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "How are you going to take this character who wasn't even a main character? He was in the show, but
he created an entire world for him."
Yeah, I was like, okay, how are they going to make this work? I mean, who cares? But then you watch it, go, it was genius. It was smart.
Yeah, Joe.
So the other night, Amanda and I may have gotten a little high. Sat on the couch, watched some TV, and we just happened to stumble upon the fact that I bought the entire series of The Office like a year or two ago.
Oh yeah, when it was on sale.
Yeah, I think it's like $30 for the entire season or series.
Yeah, I jumped on that.
I started watching it, man. It's been a long time since I've watched The Office, and holy shit, that show is like the first season. They didn't know what the fuck they were doing. Obviously,
it's a straight copy. Yeah,
right.
Well, the first episode. First episode is.
It was so harsh and awkward that
it's uncomfortable.
I loved it. It was so uncomfortable, and it was interesting, because I know we've talked about this before, but there's so many shows out there that are out there from before that would never ever be made today.
Yeah.
That show, one of them, probably that takes the cake, of a show that could never be made today. I was actually also reading a quote from Jennifer Aniston. She was stating recently that there's a whole generation of kids that are watching Friends for their first time and finding it offensive.
Right.
To the point where they're canceling Friends.
I don't know if they're canceling Friends. They're just they're saying oh, this is offensive, and they're recognizing it for those things. But the thing is that
don't watch Cheers,
but
or any show before 2000.
Don't watch MASH.
But it's
Sanford, son.
But honestly, it's like looking at a ruler.
All the family,
where we've been, and it's the progress we've made. So when you look at a show, and that's what I took away from that. It's you look back at a show that's been made 20, 30 years ago. It was made 30 fucking years ago. Things have changed. In the 80s, when we looked back to the 50s, we were like, that's fucking weird, dude. Progress changed. In the 1980s, looking back to the 50s, civil rights still hadn't happened yet. So, we're moving the bar. I mean, looking back at Friends, people still weren't comfortable with gay people. Hell, people still aren't comfortable with gay people, but at least they can marry each other now. So,
what's offensive on Friends?
Well, I think there's little things. To me, I haven't not watched Friends basically since it ended. But I remember someone complaining
except
about
for turkeys.
Someone was complaining about Ross. I know, for example, like the episode where he's playing with a Barbie, and someone was like, because Ross does not want his son playing with a Barbie, and then it was
I remember that. Yeah, okay, yeah.
People were like, why? It's like, well, it's a dad not wanting his son to play with a Barbie. But it's just to some people that's really, offensive.
Yeah.
Sorry. But everyone out there, the pauses are when we're reading the
because back then, if your son was caught playing with a Barbie, he'd probably get beat up.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I mean, that's just the way. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that
you're absolutely you're on point. Yeah.
But also looking back at Ross, he comes off as being a creepy, kind of sociopath, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
he was. It's fucking psychotic.
And the only
he was on a break.
The only reason that his relationship with his ex-wife, who is gay, is at one point a part of a joke. It wasn't about being like progressive. You know, it's like, oh, hey, look at this guy.
But she left him though.
Sure, but that was played up to be a joke as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Multiple times.
What Matt's saying, it wasn't in the thread of like being a progressive storyline.
Okay.
It was
it wasn't like, oh,
this
hey,
fucking
moving...
idiot. His wife left him for a woman.
Exactly.
Like that's like the point of the bit.
Well, speaking of breaks, now would be a good time to take.
We don't need one.
Break.
We don't need one. Where we're going, we don't need breaks.
Yeah, but going to shows.
Jack, I was gonna say, do you remember at Jay and Colleen's wedding? Were you in the water fountain with all of us? We tried to recreate.
I was not. I was not part of the cool club.
And we realized as we're standing in the fucking water fountain, there's live electricity running.
Yeah,
right. We're like, shit! And the people from the country club come running out to get the fuck out of the water fountain.
I knew it, but I didn't want to tell you guys ahead of time because I didn't want to ruin your fun.
Lawsuit. If you live.
There's a speaking of The Office real quick and not getting electrocuted. There's a moment in The Office where sprinklers go off to put out like certain candles. It happens in season 7.
Where he proposes.
Right. So that whole scene, apparently they had to they had to make sure that was insulated because of the water and all of the electricity, like cables running through that entire. So they practically had to recreate that like a system so that they could like shoot that so that they didn't electrocute the actors as they filled that whole thing with water. So, yeah. Just some of the things you don't think about, like when you're watching.
The most expensive episodes where Jim proposes to Pam.
Yes,
they had to build that or something.
Yeah, they build an entire
thing.
Not expensive, but it was kind of a cool little like behind the scenes bit where there's an episode when they sing like their they share their gratitude about him as being the boss, and it was like they did like a whole thing about like from Rent.
Yes,
you know, that song Rent. Like he had no idea. Steve Carell didn't know. Like they didn't. He didn't. It wasn't in the script. They all practiced that before he didn't know about it. So when they filmed it, that was his initial like shocked reaction as Steve Carell and as Michael Scott, which I thought was kind of cool. But,
and apparently Will Ferrell, who was in that scene as well and had to watch it go down, he said it was like. I just listened to an interview with him on the Office Ladies. They have an interview with Will Ferrell, and he was talking about that, and specifically, like as his character, he can't emotionally react to the fact that all of these people are crying, so he has to play it straight. But every time they shoot it, he's getting more and more emotional, watching everyone be so emotional towards Michael Scott, and Steve Carell, who was he knew and was in Anchorman with him and what have you. So he said it was like doing comedy to a funeral. Like he just, everybody's sad. It's like the last day, the last shot, the last time they're going to do this, and everybody's in tears. So,
well, as the show goes on, Michael Scott gets more likable.
Right.
Except for Scott's tots. What was Scott's?
It's interesting because they also did the Office.
That's
Ladies.
An awkward episode.
This is like a semi plug for the Office Ladies podcast, but they also did an interview with.
Are you on on their show too?
No, unfortunately not. If I was, I wouldn't be on this show.
Wow.
Well, I'd be
damn. Well, fuck you too. Like Jesus Christ.
Jeez, I just come out I just only do this podcast to hang out.
How would
I do this for the company of some good gentlemen, but I think that might be down one for crying out loud.
Shit. Wow.
And on that note, I'm gonna leave this podcast. No, it's a good interview with Steve, and it's interesting because it's like you hear him as the person, you don't hear him as Michael Scott, and it's very, and because he's around these people who he did the show with and has this friendship with, he seems so earnest as to who he was. But he likes Scott Tots. Like that's actually like an episode that he
that's an uncomfortable episode to watch.
So
it's very I brought you printer cartridges.
Yeah. Well, he brings batteries.
That's what it was. Batteries.
Yeah,
that's
batteries. Yeah.
I do like, I said this before, how season 1 he's very unlikable,
right?
And he's a little overweight, balding. Comes back in season 2, he's trimmer. He's got hair plugs. I think they knew that they had to make him more likable, even though he was still cringeworthy. They had to make him likable as far as maybe his appearance, because I'm just saying that obviously they did something.
They chose the episode in season 2 where they finally turn it. There's the Office Olympics game where he kind of like tears up
because he bought his condo.
Because he bought his condo, and they're like giving him this award. So you see him tear up in that, and then the next episode is the Halloween episode, in which you see at the very end of that, you see this like moment where Michael Scott is like giving candy out to kids, and you see like, oh, he wants to be a dad. Like, and that is the first time that you're kind of like let in to be like, well, maybe he's not such a complete asshole.
Well, you see his back when you start seeing his backstory, and how he wasn't really liked as a kid. He didn't have any friends.
I love the one where they show like him from a kid when he was on that kids show.
Yes,
and there's a puppet talking to him.
Yeah, and the puppet's
the puppet's awkward. The puppet's like, holy fuck. So,
I want to have so I can have kids come to my parties, and he's like.
Yeah, the puppet does like that straight up meme of the side eye, like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, John in the chat, Glorious John says the puppet's reaction. Yeah, I still love that one. So it's great.
Yeah, it's a great show.
Anyway, sorry, not to get on an Office side tangent, but Chris, I'm glad you're finally watching that show.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a long haul. That's not. Well, I've watched it before, dude.
No, I know.
But this.
Have you seen Ted Lasso?
Fuck off.
Who thinks Ted's gonna quit?
Yeah, no, I think when it's the last. My prediction for season 3.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
I don't know.
It's a prediction. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Zava is going to take them really far, but there's going to be a conflict at some point between Ted and him of like ego or something like that, and it's going to lead them up to the championship versus West Ham, and then he's going to quit or get fired or whatnot, and then the team's going to come together and defeat West Ham, and that'll be.
I think Zava's going to leave.
I will add on an additional prediction. They can't in one season, just from a soccer perspective, a football perspective, they can't join that league and go into the championship game. I don't think it's going to happen.
Or just
I think if you're well coached.
I think the important game is going to say which team will be relegated, and it's going to be West Ham versus Richmond. To stave off relegation.
Ooh,
maybe okay.
That would be an interesting. Yeah,
but I haven't watched the new episode yet, but I fucking love that show.
Yeah,
that show is. If you haven't watched Ted Lasso, do yourself a fucking favor and just watch it. Give it a shot because like there's no show like it today, right? Like the amount of like Jack, what you mentioned, the amount of heart that show has, humor that the show has. You can tell that the passion behind the show, of the writing of the show, is you see it every week because the writers are in the show, right? Which is interesting, right? So like you're looking at Roy Kent and Coach Beard are the two like head writers two of the head writers, I should say, of that.
And Roy Kent was outstanding this last episode. Like his character.
Today's episode.
Love those guys.
No, I didn't see today's yet. I'm talking.
There is a look that Roy Kent gives in this last episode that like he just gives it it's a second look, and my wife and I just both cracked up laughing just because of that look and everything that it holds back from that look.
Yeah.
And Nick and I were talking before we started about how Wednesdays become our new TV day because we got Mandalorian and Bad Batch, and although I think this is the last of the Bad Batch, I think this is the season final. But then Ted Lasso, and my family, I'm kind of more like, I want to watch The Mandalorian first, but my family's like, Ted Lasso, we're watching that first. And it speaks volumes because my kids, even though, it's full of fuck this and fuck off and fuck,
fuck you.
it's a family show, and we all watch it together because, truth be told, my kids hear that at school all the time.
Oh, of course they do.
You know, so whatever. Like
but
the show, the bottom line, what you said, the show has heart, and it supersedes any kind of else that's
right.
Yeah.
Well, even Kent is getting softer.
Yeah.
Right. So like this past week's episode, when he kind of like comes to terms with Trent Krim, like
yes,
that was like predictable for fucking sure. But like, but it was still, even though you knew it was going to happen, you knew it was going to happen, and the way that it unfolded, you're just like, oi.
Right. Well, I mean, you originally think, you know, when he's like, no one talked to this, you know, whatever, you think, oh, it's just because of might jinx the team, or there's going to be a number of reasons why. And then when he takes him in the shower and reads him this probably 20-year-old article, you're like,
he said it was 17 years ago, wasn't he? Or no, he was 17 when the article.
He was 17 when it was
folded up in his wallet for 17 years. Like,
he goes, but he said, I remember writing it. He goes, I was trying to. He said I was trying to make a name for myself.
So, you know, it's funny. I thought about that like piece of paper in his wallet today because I just quick side story, unless they derail me.
You talking about condoms?
Yeah, condoms in my wallet. You knew exactly where I was going.
I knew where you're going. Yeah.
No, okay. So last night, like in the early morning hours, you know, somewhere around I thought
it was still condoms.
Somewhere around 5. Oh, I wish. Somewhere around 5 a.m. I started to have this dream.
You got the condom out. Yeah.
It's this classic like the night before your so as a teacher, I have teacher dreams where I'm not prepared. You know, as a student, you have student dreams where you're not prepared and maybe you're naked or whatever. My teacher dreams, you've never had the dream where you're naked in school or something like that, or you're not?
Not once.
Okay. All right. So I don't have that dream, but I do have a dream.
You are an art teacher.
I do.
Are you the model? Are you the model in this situation?
No, I was naked holding an apple.
I told you it was going to be a quick story, but anyway. Yeah, so I have this dream that I'm missing something, and I'm at school and I don't have it, and I'm ill prepared. I'm like, I have this anxiety, right? So I wake up in the morning, I'm grabbing all my shit to go, you know, and I can't find my fucking wallet. So this is a real life. Like, I'm like, I can't find my fucking wallet. So I'm just like,
well, you were naked. You had no pockets.
Yeah, right. So I leave. I just was like, okay, I just have to go to school. Like, I don't have time to look around for my wallet. And my wife's at home. She's on spring break. And the kids. So they like ransack the entire house. And I'm at school this morning, like waiting for updates. Like, just tell me that you found my fucking wallet. Like, I'm just freaking out, you know, because it's your wallet. And I'm going over like where I was, what I did with it, all of those things. And by the way, I'm pretty sure my wife just thinks I'm an absent-minded artist and that I lose my wallet all the time, you know? So I'm amazed that Roy Kent kept this piece of paper and never lost his wallet this whole fucking time. Because so I teach, and then halfway through, you know, like I get through my class and I'm like, I have a big enough break that I'm like, I'm driving home. It's a half an hour, but I'm driving home and I'm trying to find this fucking wallet. Found it. Drove all the way back, but the whole time I'm thinking,
wait, where was it at?
Okay, vindication for me. It was where I usually lay it on the counter, but someone, not me, knocked it off, and it was like it fell off, so it was like in this crevice between. Yeah, so it was like on the counter, but
who knocked it off?
I don't know. I assume the kids. It's easier to blame the kids once they move out. Oh, I thought you were drinking.
No, I was saying I put a hot. I can't drink because I have to drive home. Yeah, but a hot light.
No,
we're getting air tag.
I don't understand the hot light thing. Anyway, I found the wallet. This was a lame story.
When you're questioning them, you put a hot light up there.
I had no time for that. I was more annoyed that they didn't.
But you had time for this fucking story.
The whole time I kept thinking about Roy Kent and that like little piece of paper that he kept in his wallet and how he never.
I get what you're saying. It's the fact that he had this paper for 20 plus years in his wallet,
Right.
Yes.
I mean, I've at least lost my wallet.
I'm sure he's
once
changed wallets. You know, he just moved the paper.
I know, but I've legit lost my wallet. Had to cancel everything, only to find my wallet a year later. You know,
AirTag.
See, my OCD.
AirTag. I know.
My OCD is.
I need to get an
There's
AirTag.
no way that piece of paper could exist on a wallet for 20 years. It would be rubbed, into non-existence. So you'd have to laminate that thing. But
yeah,
I don't think you
would
would
ruin it for everyone. I heard a touching scene. He just fucked it all up.
Yeah.
And plus, he brought it out in the shower. All the moisture in the shower, which would have crumbled it.
Yep.
I hate this show. Fuck Ted Lasso.
So unreal. So unrealistic.
I wish Nick never introduced me to it.
It's unbelievable. I did like the part. Yeah, exactly. I like the part where Jamie starts to tell something, and he looks up and sees Roy, and he stops, and then but Ted Lasso was pretty firm with Roy. He said, you got to change your ways, right?
There was some really cool cinematography.
Fuck you, John. Fuck
choices.
You. Okay.
What do you say?
Fuck you.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Not here.
There were some really interesting cinematography choices for this episode
You're not
too.
on the podcast.
So I was watching this, and I was watching this guy who did a review of it. You know how when he says it's 11:11, make a wish.
Yeah.
That was at 11 minutes 11 seconds in the episode.
Oh, really?
And exactly 30 seconds after that scene was when what's his name says, "I just wished for that." It was literally 30 seconds after that, which I thought was pretty cool.
All right, now I'm back liking the show now.
Yeah. I was ready.
Nick rooted for a while, but
a couple other scenes too. There's one scene where when Jamie Tart sees from the sidelines Roy and Keeley having an argument,
right?
And they walk down the aisle and they both go into separate directions, right?
Right.
There's a mirrored scene for that too. Is after John's such a dick. I love it. But there's actually an interesting scene. Like after Zava or whatever his name is talking to Rupert, and then he walks down the hallway and Zava takes off. Rupert walks down the hallway and goes to the right. And then you expect what's her name? Rebecca to walk in the hallway and follow it, Rupert and fucking tear him apart, but she goes left. So it's kind of like a really cool mirrored scene of walking down the hallway when Keeley and Roy did their thing. And then they do the same exact scene, but it's the opposite. And they kind of split off, and she follows him into the bathroom and goes and yells at him. But it was just really, really cool. So they did some really cool cinematography in this episode. Look it up. There's actually a guy who
eat less asparagus.
That's funny.
I know exactly what you're talking about, Chris. I watched that whole going, like some of the visual and the body language of some of the scenes are really.
And there's some breaking of character in the episode too. I don't know if you caught that, but I caught that when I was watching it, and they confirmed it when I was watching this kind of recap of the show. But there's a scene where they're in the locker room, and I believe it's when I think Roy fucking flips out or something. I don't know what the fuck it was, but you can see Jamie, Phil Dunster is the actor, breaking. He can't hold it in. It's
I'll have to go back and watch. I didn't see that.
Yeah. I remember seeing it live. Be like, oh, he's fucking laughing.
Yeah.
I usually look for stuff like that. Didn't see it.
Yeah.
Steve Carell said that was the hardest thing. The hardest thing about The Office
to not laugh.
To not laugh. He said that was
So that made me curious. I wonder if that the theme of the cinematography, if that kind of has stretched across the series or not. So that I think if you do a rewatch of Ted Lasso, it might pick up on a few things. But
Mary Poppins.
You'll
Mary Poppins. There are some Mary Poppins references within Ted Lasso. Big conspiracy. Ted Lasso is fucking Mary Poppins. Okay. Came in on a breeze, and he's coming in there to make all of their dreams come true.
He is giving him a spoonful of sugar,
and then are you referencing also from today's episode as well?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's not. No, there's not.
I was going to say, but
there is an umbrella. There's an umbrella that talks.
No, they just Chris. They just say what's your favorite Julie Andrews movie? So that's why I did that.
Well, mine is 10.
There's a couple.
Derek. Let's go.
Yeah, there's a couple of actually really good Jamie jokes as well in this today's episode, which you'll like that are good. I thought today's episode cinematography was very good as well, because there's a whole playing montage
and the murder scene.
Murder scene. Yeah, comes out of nowhere.
What's interesting? I haven't seen today's episode, so I haven't gotten to see the character development of Zava. But
it's sad that he dies already.
I feel like they're definitely trying to emulate Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
I can't even say it.
Premier League soccer player.
Okay.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic, but you can tell like
Zlatan
Zlatan
Dubativic Ibrahimovic.
Yes, nailed it. But you can tell like the attitude and kind of like the presence of Zava from the episode that I have seen with him in it is very reminiscent of how Zlatan carries himself in the Premier League. I'm curious to see if that's kind of like an inspiration for the role or not, because it definitely
sure it is.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of,
go ahead. No. I have nothing. No, I have nothing more to say.
Okay, well, that make John happy. Speaking of comedies,
I was going to say our listeners have anything to say.
Oh,
speaking of comedies, have you watched History of the World Part 2?
I have not yet. I've not watched it yet. Is it garbage?
No, I like it. You have you seen it?
History of the World Part 2? I watched the first episode. Didn't laugh one time.
Really?
Yeah,
I was like, I was so.
Is it because they had a note in the wall?
I just kept watching it.
There's only 4 parts to it. I only watched the first part, and I just didn't find any of it funny. Because it's not Mel Brooks. It's not, it's a lot of other writers, and it just to me it was a big miss. I just didn't think it was.
That's
funny.
a bummer. I was going to watch it.
I liked it. Don't listen to Nick. Just give it a chance. Sometimes you just have to give things a
Everyday
chance.
Adventures liked it.
Yeah,
they did.
I love how he defends it here, and he defends it in the chat as well.
Like simultaneously, that was actually like that was ambidextrous.
Yes.
Or as some people might say, amphibious. I saw a headline where somebody fucked up that word. And you're like, how
that doesn't work.
What in this day and age you can't figure this word out? Anyway,
did you have another comedy, Jack?
I did. On Netflix, they have a 3-part series about Waco.
That's a comedy.
So,
okay.
If you're not familiar with Waco, it was a tragedy all around. Plus, it also led to the Oklahoma City bombing.
Yeah.
And if you don't know that one, that was
and it led to a Trump rally. If you don't know that
it probably did.
Which weird that he would pick that place, huh? Okay. Anyway.
Well, he picked it because the FBI director, the guy in charge of the Waco thing, was stationed there.
The ATF.
That's why ATF. ATF. Yes, right. But yeah, I learned. I knew some of it, but there's some stuff you learn. It's like, who do you blame? Do you blame the ATF? Do you blame the Davidians? Do you blame? I mean, you sit there, you go around and around with it, and
well, I mean, the thing is that
do you blame Janet Reno? Do you blame Bill Clinton? Because Janet Reno had just been
always blame
promoted, and I always cracked up because they asked Clinton about it. I remember at the time, and he said, "Oh, that was Janet Reno's decision."
Yeah. But he's
no way.
He's in charge of Janet Reno.
He did. He said but Janet Reno, to her credit, said it was my decision. The buck stops with me.
No,
but when they asked Clinton, he said, wasn't my decision.
Yeah, they fucked that up. But there's no doubt they fucked that up. But who knows what would have come of that if they didn't do it?
Right. The thing is, they weren't breaking any laws. They were just people. Yeah, you could say their lifestyle was wrong and they were in a cult.
Well, if he's having sex with
trying to live
underage girls, he's breaking the law.
Absolutely, but it's just one of those things. I don't know. I just don't.
Well,
agree
you
burning. Well, they set it on fire, but putting fucking guns around a bunch of civilians and then basically murdering them.
Tanks.
And tanks, yeah.
And a lot of the people that were there said, they didn't feel comfortable with it. If you want to watch, it's 3 parts. I think like 45
Is it a
minutes.
documentary or is it a drama?
It's a documentary.
Oh, it's
not a comedy.
There was a movie.
It's not a comedy.
Not a comedy.
It's not a
movie.
movie
that came out a few years ago with
I remember
what's his
watching
name
that
from Friday Night
That
Lights.
was a comedy.
Might make a good sitcom.
I remember watching that one, Chris. Yeah, the one that came out a couple years ago. Yeah.
But I said there's because they have film of stuff you've never seen before, and they have the conversations going back and forth, and
we fucked that up.
No doubt that David Koresh was crazy. I mean, but
by the way, if you think that's fucked up, wait till you hear what we did to the Native Americans.
Yeah, fuck.
And if you like that, guess what? There's a sequel. It's called African Americans and what we fucked up with them too. Anyway, sorry.
So if you want to watch another movie about a cult, the People's Temple movie. I don't know if you remember that. Powers Booth played Jim Jones.
Oh yeah. I got on a Kool-Aid kick after that. I couldn't stop drinking it.
So I had to write a term paper on that in college. We had to study that whole cult in the whole situation in my psychology of communications class in college, which is one of the best fucking classes I ever took in all of my education. Was the psychology of communication with Dr. Buds, great dude. He has since passed away, unfortunately. But
I love that you remember your teacher and how great that class was.
I do. I remember all the good ones.
That makes me happy.
I do.
I mean, look, Matt. Everyone's going to remember the nude art teacher. Okay, don't worry.
It wasn't naked. It was not naked.
But the whole story about Jim Jones and the People's Temple down in French Guiana or New Guyana, which is kind of like the, for those who don't know what that is, it's kind of like where the beginnings of drink the Kool-Aid, the term drink the Kool-Aid came from.
I think it was where it came from.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
You said kind of.
Okay, so that's where it came from specifically.
Okay, thank you.
This is a generational thing, Jack.
Dicks. But the story of that story is fucking wild. Like, if you want to learn about
next to the temple
cult theory and all that type of stuff, like read up on that whole situation with Jonestown. But there was a TV
900 and something people committed suicide, right?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the kids didn't know. I mean, they were just
they didn't know. They just died.
And there was a state senator that was killed on the whole when they took a trip down there.
That started
played by. Yeah. So I mean, the movie is I think
it wasn't kind of killed. Movie. He was killed. It was.
So the movie was amazing. So I highly recommend checking it out.
Just partially dead.
I've seen it.
With Powers Booth, with what's his name, the guy who plays Lex Luthor's sidekick from Superman back in the 80s. Ned Beatty. He plays the senator that is murdered.
He starts squealing like a pig, right?
That's true. He did, Jack.
He would never let that down. I mean, all the roles he had that were good, but that's the one people.
That's right.
The thing is with any cult, you don't know that you're in a cult until it's too late, and then you're in it, right? And that's what I've been trying to tell people, listeners. That's how I got on this podcast. I didn't know I was getting into a cult, but I'm trapped, guys. Help.
You're not.
Who's the leader? It's a funny story about that.
I don't know. You're in his house.
That that happened when I was in. I think I was in a senior in high school, and I had a friend at the time whose name was Jim Jones.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I had a friend at the time. Because after that, I started calling the Reverend. And so it kind of caught on.
Oh.
And so he just stopped talking to me.
Fucking asshole.
I go, oh, you're the Reverend. And, just jokingly, just kind of having some fun. And,
You're a fucking bully in high school.
Yeah.
I said it once or twice.
Once or twice.
And it caught on.
12.
It caught on.
By the way,
teachers were calling him Reverend.
By the way, that guy died of an LSD overdose.
What?
Unrelated to Jack.
Anyway, he later on, I think I saw him like 10 years later. He said, I know you were just joking. So, but anyway, I took him out for Kool-Aid afterwards.
John, the retired guy, we are all looking for a way.
Did you guys ever see the movie Up in the Air?
Was that the sequel to Up?
No, it's with George Clooney and a young Anna Kendrick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Every time I hear the drink the Kool-Aid, I always think of there's this one scene in there where her boyfriend breaks up with her. She's crying, and George Clooney was like a confirmed bachelor, in the movie, and he's like, and she's trying to talk to him about marriage. He's like, because it's just not. He says, I just don't want it. It's not interesting to me. And she goes, well, and he's like, he's fine. He goes, fine, sell me marriage. She's like, well, what about not dying alone? She goes. He looks at her and goes, everyone dies alone. Trust me. We all die alone. And he's like, he goes, but, if you want to join that cult and drink the Kool-Aid, they didn't die alone. And then she just breaks down crying again. I'm like, damn, he's just brutal. I think it's just an underrated movie. Well,
there was when he like fires people.
Yeah, it's when he fires people for a living.
Yeah.
There was a group in San Diego.
9 or 10 when it came out. It was like right after the 2008 crash. So it was like perfect timing for that movie to come out.
There's a group in San Diego that they follow the Hale-Bopp. What's that comet?
Oh yeah, the Hale-Bopp.
Oh yeah,
the Hale-Bopp.
And they all wear the same tennis shoes.
Yeah.
Right.
Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate.
Yeah, it was in
that call happened when
San Diego
I was
County.
That call happened when I was in high school.
No, I was out of high school.
No, I was in high school at the time. I think
it was in the 90s. Yeah.
Were you naked?
Late 90s. Yeah.
No, but I knew this guy named Hale, and I started calling him Bob.
I mean, if you look at that guy, I mean, at least Koresh kind of looked normal. Jim Jones kind of looked normal. This guy didn't look normal. He looked like he was crazy.
He did.
Right? I mean, it's yeah, I'm not following you. You look crazy. I'm not judging you, but you look like nuts. Gott says hi to everyone, even me. Wow.
Good evening, Gott.
Wow. Because usually I can't stand Gott, but
hypothetically, if you were to fire someone,
how
would you like to build them up before you crush them, or is it just kind of like a
between the eyes?
I hate confrontation. I don't even like talking to my students, really.
It's the one thing I remember about the movie Moneyball, and I think was great advice. It was like, we're all adults here. Don't sugarcoat. Don't tell them how hard it is for them. Just tell them what you'd say, and then and people will just accept it. And it's like, and that's what he does when he has to fire like some of the baseball players. He's like, hey, there's no longer room for you on the team. You've been traded, blah, blah, blah. This person will call you later. And they're like, okay. And then it's like, that's just how it is. And I always thought that was really good advice of like how to handle that type of situation. But another topic I didn't get to bring up yet. I don't know if you guys got to see it yet, but John Wick 4 came out.
I did not.
Good flick.
I need to rewatch Parabellum because I think I fell asleep watching it. Not that it wasn't good, but I need to rewatch it. I think
I might watch
see it on Friday.
I might watch the first 3 so I can watch it.
Yeah, well, like the first one is the only one that's halfway believable. That's halfway grounded of like, that could happen.
No, that's bullshit because he has that note in his wallet.
But
dude, how did he keep that wallet the whole time?
I know.
The fourth one is just as bullshit as the third one of like, because he gets hit by like 6 cars and he's still fucking walking. You're like, there's no fucking way. You're
not selling me on watching this.
No,
in John Wick 2, he gets shot in the abdomen 7 times and just
okay.
You can't survive a gut. You can't survive a gut shot.
I think it's like it's like how Michael Scott described the Die Hard franchise, right? It's like the first one, he's just a normal guy walking through glass, no big deal. Fourth one, he's jumping in a helicopter over an airplane, a helicopter. Right. It's just like too much.
But speaking of, it's hard to watch what's happening to him.
Who? Oh yes, yeah. Bruce Willis, yeah.
Bruce Willis.
He posted this video of him on his birthday. Yeah.
It's like, oh my god,
deteriorating fast, man.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, it's such an amazing actor and funny guy, and I don't know. I haven't watched anything about him.
I'm trying not to.
Yeah, I mean,
I try not to either because it brings back other memories. But it's like going, oh my god.
It's kind of like one of those like I just want him to like have his own time. Like that's his time to like have his.
It's his family's time too.
Yeah, exactly. Like I mean, I think we talked about this too about the idea of letting go, or celebrities like Robin Williams, like who committed suicide, and faced with a difficult, disease.
Or even like Lance Reddick from John Wick / Lost / tons of shit.
Yeah, when you watch John Wick 4, you wonder if they knew, while he was making it, because he died of natural causes. They still haven't announced how he died, but he died of natural causes, and so you wonder if he knew while filming that movie he didn't have much time.
So not if it's natural causes. I mean, it just.
Well, I don't know. Who knows? But
I mean, natural causes could be a heart attack.
Yeah,
Yeah. They said
died in his sleep.
Yeah. They said Jim Henson died of pneumonia, but they still said it was AIDS. So I don't know where I'm. I like how Nick's like.
Wait, I mean, I'm a dark person, but somehow you go darker than me sometimes. I'm just like, damn.
Wow.
Have you seen Onyx? Because it's even darker. It's sometimes my son is he's entering middle school, that middle school era where his comedy's gone dark, and I'm just like, fuck, he gets it from me. Like, he says things sometimes, and I'm like, Jesus, what the fuck, dude?
But you're like,
you're funnier than me.
I'm gonna try this. I'm recording tonight. I'm gonna try this out.
Okay, so let me tell you. Okay, so you lost your wallet.
Tell your son's joke it fell flat.
About it. Huh?
Tell your son that last joke fell flat.
Okay, well, yeah, the whole wallet story, it just didn't hit. Was the dream a premonition, or did the dream cause me having this moment? Right, like it's kind of
that you're naked and you don't have your wallet.
Okay, first of all, I was never fucking naked in the
dream.
I know I was not naked in the dream. No, I said, have you ever? I just asked you guys. Have you ever?
You were naked in your dream. I
was never naked in the dream.
I'm hearing the audible version of a backtrack. I don't know about you guys, but like I definitely
I was not naked in the dream. That was not the point. I said,
naked.
Have you ever mentioned?
We need the rewind sound. Yep. So I was
Sherry,
naked in front of my class.
Sherry, just
saying,
search
"Where's the wallet?"
You can find it.
What do you, the listeners, decide? They're gonna fuck.
You sure you want them deciding it?
Yes,
I do.
I would actually like to do just a podcast where John has to listen to me talking about the wallet story multiple times again and again. The drive to work, where I'm thinking about it, multiple texts from my family telling me where they searched. My wife, like, thinking I'm just like this absent-minded loser artist that like cannot keep.
Oh, she doesn't think that.
Oh, she totally does. She's gonna ditch me any day now. She's like, done with you. Be gone.
Because you can't find your wallet?
Yeah, pretty much.
And you dream about being naked?
Of course I'm leaving you, honey. You can't even find where your money is.
The wallet story again, maybe this is a nightmare.
That's what I'm trying. I'm really trying. I mean, Jack wanted this episode to be done in an hour.
Well, I was about ready to wrap it.
In the basement watching Star Wars naked again. What the fuck?
This is the way.
I did want to answer
his wallet somewhere. We can't find it.
I did want to answer Sherry's question here about Bruce Willis. Like, she wanted to know where we found the video about Bruce Willis. Like, I think Demi Moore posted an Instagram video of him blowing out his birthday cake, and you can just tell just by watching him that he's still there, but you can tell that something
he's struggling.
Yeah, he's struggling.
OnlyFans.
Shit.
I'm sorry, that was meant for the private chat. That's not meant for everybody else to read.
That's there. So
we're gonna be on OnlyFans. Okay, all right.
That's the only way we're gonna get listeners now.
They make some money though, right?
They do.
I'll show my toes, dude. Let's go.
I said that a few months back that aside from eBay, OnlyFans is the most money trafficked website.
Huh.
I mean, we could do that. Maybe I wouldn't have to borrow money from Matt to pay for Hulu.
As in, like,
I'm here for it, man. If you need that extra $7 a month, please take it. Oh, I like how Sherry put thanks after I put OnlyFans.
I don't think you're saying thanks.
Oh, okay. Well, I do like to imagine Sherry on.
But I do have to wrap this up because Jay's on his way home. This has been a fun episode, though. I almost regret having to end it.
Damn,
but we have to end this. He's probably got him.
Why does this brown stuff all over my?
There's definitely a camera pointed at Jack right now, in which Jay
has got the nanny cam.
That's why he left early.
Yeah.
This isn't ectoplasm, Dad. What is this?
This room isn't even safe to. There must be like $50,000-$60,000 in toys in this thing.
That's a good estimate. Just by
I'm probably wrong. It's probably worth more. I can't believe he doesn't have like bars on the door and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, right. Rumor Nancy Reagan would blow anyone back in the day except for some jackass who lost his wallet.
It's a graveside.
She just said no. All right, but that's all we got.
Graveside service now.
Join us every week. We'll be back again probably next week for another show. Probably won't be on Wednesday. Matt will be recording Geek's Dad Life on Friday night.
That was fucking awful, Nick.
I'm
not just get away with that. That was fucking terrible.
I didn't hear what he said.
I mean, very par for the course for tonight, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, I hate when people are interrupting me when I'm trying to.
If you're dialing it up to
go ahead
to bad, might as well make it bad.
Well, what did you say? Well, now what did you say?
Well, you had to listen, Jack. No,
I'm not gonna go back and listen.
Jack, I just talk over you because that's what you do to me. So it's like,
well, I only do it to keep the show going.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, dead silence.
I mean, I know. I forgot to mention too. San Diego State, the Final Four. We all excited about that?
Don't give a fuck.
What is this Final Four you speak of?
It's
a corrupt way for people to make money in betting on sports.
Yes. Anyway, on OnlyFans, if you enjoy what we do, help us out, become a patron. But did we get an email?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, thanks for reminding me.
All right, hurry up and read the email. I won't interrupt you.
I thought we were getting done early tonight. I got Poker Face to watch. I was trying to get caught up. Now I at least have another week.
It's from Dennis.
Oh, okay, Dennis. I thought it was going to be from Randy. I haven't heard one of his.
No, when Randy was out of town.
When I was producing, Randy would send in emails all the time.
Go ahead, Nick.
Is that what you're trying to say? You're a good producer?
Nope.
Go ahead, Nick.
In case anyone, Jack, thinks there has been a little too much Star Wars talk and not enough trivia on the podcast recently, here's a question for Jack.
Oh, okay.
He's probably read it. That's why he knew there's an email. What NHL player won the NCAA championship during his college career, was called up to the NHL from the minors just before the playoffs, helped them win the Stanley Cup, and won the Conn Smythe Trophy that year as Smythe, sorry, yeah, they can tell how much hockey I watch. That year and as the playoff MVP, and then won the Calder Trophy as Rookie of the Year the following season.
Fuck. No, it wasn't Wayne Gretzky. I'll say Sidney Crosby.
No.
I'm going to say...
I have no idea.
What decade? No, you wouldn't know.
I would know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What's his initials?
Well, I can't tell you that.
Are you sure it's not Mario?
Lemieux?
Yeah, him.
It's Bobby Hull.
Or
Bobby Hull?
I'm kidding.
Oh.
Was it Claude Lemieux?
It wasn't Gordie Howe, was it? Chris Dorn says Ken Dryden.
Was it Steve?
It is Ken Dryden.
Wow, really?
Who
was broadcasting the Miracle on Ice game with Al Michaels, I believe. Am I right?
Where did Dryden go to college?
Dryden U.
He was drafted by the Bruins.
Nancy Reagan High.
Well, that was a good. I would never would have guessed Ken Dryden.
It was a showstopper. Stumped us. I mean,
we should do trivia again one night. All right, guys.
We should.
I really got to go.
Okay. Yep.
But thanks for everyone who joined us in the chat. Had a great time. If you want to become a patron, at this time we're going to thank. Just go to janejack.com patron thing, and this time we're going to thank Eckhart Richter Glaffelder, Maggie the Magnificent, Joanne with a Plan, and Ed, the creepy poopy letter carrier. And Chris Dorn says, yes, it was Ken Dryden that was working with Al Michaels. Do you believe in miracles? Yes. I knew that. Cornell College. Oh, so he's smart too. I wonder if he went with Andy.
That's Andy wasn't that smart. So
yeah. Anyway, Andy Bernard. All right, guys. Hasta luego and goodbye.
See ya.
Bye.
Good evening.